Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Roundup. I want to welcome Tamara, Rissa, and Levi. How's everyone today?
Doing
Doing
good, man.
good.
Doing
That's
well.
that's good. Today, we wanted to talk about a serious topic today, and it's about suicide. We want to talk about it because with the pandemic, a lot of people have been going through things and feeling like they can't deal with it. And I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there has been a rising number of people who have been dealing with those symptoms and dealing with this mindset of wanting to take their own life. So we wanted to address that and talk about that a little bit. Um, I was reading in U.S. News that since 2007, there's with Americans, there seems to have been nearly a 60% jump in suicides among young Americans. Suicides among young Americans and children aged 10 to 24 rose 57% from 2007 to 2018, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The increase in youth suicide has been pervasive across the U.S. No area is immune to this happening, said the author Sally Curtin of the CDC's National Center of Health Statistics. Hopefully, these data will inform prevention efforts. So we wanted to talk about some some things that have probably happened in our lives that have made those thoughts come, and also we wanted to talk about how to deal with these things and how to spot them, but also how to, if you're dealing with them, how to get help and to seek help if you need it. Um, does anyone have anything they want to say right now before we get into it? If not, we can move forward.
Go ahead.
All right, so I was looking here on mayoclinic.org's website. Some symptoms of suicide include suicide warnings, such as talking about suicide, saying statements like, I'm going to kill myself, or I wish I were dead, or I wish I hadn't been born. Other symptoms or signs of suicide include getting the means to take your own life, such as buying a gun or stockpiling pills, um, withdrawing from social contact and wanting to be left alone, having mood swings, such as being emotionally high one day and deeply discouraged the next, feeling trapped or hopeless about a situation, increasing use of alcohol and drugs, and the list goes on. There's so many things um, involved with it that if you're around someone that might be dealing with it, you can see and spot and might be able to help them with. One thing that it shows here is developing personality changes or being severely anxious or agitated, particularly when experiencing some of the warning signs listed above. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about those symptoms and what you can do to spot them. Um, for myself, I have dealt with uh, here recently some issues where I felt like I might want to, not really that I wanted to really take my life, but the thought had come across my mind where, if you do this, you could possibly, it'll just be over. And then, for me, myself, I just like brush it off. Um, but I feel like if you are one who is dealing with this particular issue and is pervasive in your mind, there is means and help for which you can get that help.
Amen.
Um,
We
what it's
love
saying
you.
here, what it's saying here is when to see a doctor. If you're feeling suicidal, but you aren't immediately thinking of hurting yourself, reach out to a close friend or a loved one, even though it might be hard to talk about your feelings. Contact a minister, a spiritual leader, or someone in your faith community. Call a suicide hotline or make an appointment with your doctor or other health professional. I'm sorry, make an appointment with your doctor, other healthcare professional, or mental health professional. For me, whenever I'm feeling down or I'm feeling low, I try to call people who I'm close with just to get that upbeat. I change certain things in my daily routine. I try to go out and just, get that refresher, get the stress off my mind that might be causing me to feel down or depressed in any kind of way. Um, are there certain things that you guys do that help you when you're feeling down or feeling low specifically? Not necessarily saying that you might commit suicide, of course, but when you might be feeling down or low or depressed or whatever, what do you guys do to help yourselves? Anyone can go. Go
You
ahead,
know,
Rissa. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Rissa. You're fine.
Okay. I kind of I basically do the same thing. Like more so, and that's and not even just with feeling like down and depressed, because I definitely have felt that, but like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I try to, some things I'm able to cope with by myself because I'm a type of person. I like to think, and I probably overthink a lot of different things. But, of course, I talk to my husband. I'll talk to, family. I talk to my friends, you guys. I definitely have to reassess, assess how I'm feeling, trying to figure out what is triggering me and go from there. But I need to surround myself with good people. Like that is the one thing. And of course, I pray also. But sometimes I pray and I'm still feeling like this. So, that's when I will take the next step, and I have to surround myself with people who I know that are going to be uplifting. Sometimes I don't even need to talk about what I'm going through. Now, of course, if it's really serious, I will. But if I'm not, or if it's just something like, if I have to, it's something that I'm just going through or whatnot, I will be, with my people that I know, that I'm close with.
True. How do you cope with it, Tamara?
I know this might sound a little weird, but the type of music that I listen to, that also plays a big factor as well. So, I'll play certain songs, like worship, like gospel, to remind me of the God that I believe in. You know what I mean? Just to hear those words out in the atmosphere and to hear it for myself reminds me of who God is and what I need to do or to press forward to. And same as what you both said, my company is very important. So I will just surround myself with people that I know who are going to spiritually uplift me, or who just have some people call it also like good energy, good vibes, whatever like that. And that will just, they just have an uplifting spirit about them. So I'll surround myself with them. And also, I also want to just piggyback off of like, if I am in that mood, and I'm sure we'll go into that later, are certain situations, but when I do feel that way, I have to be very particular of what I let in my space. So like certain
Definitely.
TV shows I can't watch. And like I stated before, like certain songs I can't listen to. I really just need positivity. You know what I'm saying? I make sure, I pray and I self-evaluate things of that nature. But mostly because a lot of times people won't always be there. You know what I'm saying? If I need someone to call, they might not pick up, or if I need to go out with somebody, they might not be available. So
Definitely.
I rely on other sources like prayer or certain types of music, or certain uplifting TV shows, or like even going on YouTube to look at certain talk shows that will, get me through. But that's what I generally do if I'm in that type of mood.
How about you, Levi?
For me, it's kind of the same. I mostly like to talk to people or be around people. I think, as a man, we tend to, and I'm one of those men, I will admit that, we tend to keep things on the inside of us.
Yeah.
We don't put it out there, but, a lot of the times, for me, at least, I just like being around good people, good company, laughs and stuff like that. Listening to music is one of my things as well. Sometimes I do break down. I need to talk about, talk about the situation. For some reason, for men, including myself, usually talking about it is the last thing that we want to do.
Yeah,
And that's
definitely.
just the real of it, you know. But you know, having those conversations, having good times with friends, you know, and praying for me. I pray all the time, but those are usually the things that help me the most.
Do you think it's easy to spot when someone is suicidal?
I
No, so go ahead.
I would say it's hard, but you can really see when people's patterns change. Like, you know, they're this way, but then all of a sudden, you know, things start to change. And sometimes maybe it's a thing where they change and then go back, but then once you start to see them change and they're constantly changing, and you know, you're starting to see a constant regression, to me, I'm able to spot that there might be a problem with something, or somebody, or they might be going through something.
Not necessarily suicidal, but they could be going down that
Correct.
slope
Yeah. Correct.
towards it, right?
Yeah.
I
What
was
do you
gonna say,
think?
I was gonna say, well, because you know, I used to work on a behavioral health unit,
Mm.
so you know, I'm a nurse, so it's kind of yes and no. We get a lot of people who, well, when I used to work there, it depends on that type of person. Because one of the things they have taught us, to like, let's say if you are dealing with someone who you know who's you know on that downward spiral, sometimes the thing that people do, and this has been documented widely, is that they'll make the decision to, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go through with this, but they will tell everybody, oh, everything's okay now, and you know, I'm doing better, you know, everything is, you know, it's getting better, I have a new outlook, da 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 da. And sometimes that right there is the key, because, and a lot of people miss it because you take them at their word and what they're saying, and what they mean by that usually is they're going to commit suicide versus what they're actually saying. Because I remember several times we've had, you know, like instances where there was an attempt that was caught and that person's life was saved, and they will say that, oh, well, they told me everything was fine and things are getting better. Like that's what their family says. And so that's something that you look out for. So people sometimes, even if you're close to them, some people are very good at hiding things. So it's not always blatant that that's what they're feeling.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So would you say, like, with that situation, is it something you need to like pay attention to more? Because I wonder, like, could
I
you
would
see
say
it?
so, yes.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to say that, right? Because I mean,
Yeah, it is.
you feel like you know someone.
Exactly.
You can feel like you know someone and still be fooled. I feel like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing about it is it's so, and that's the thing that trips people up the most. And that's why the grief process can be very hard on the people that are left behind, because in some instances you do see the downward spiral, and sometimes you really don't see it, you know, and especially when it comes to the teenager who's done it, because teens are notorious for keeping things from their parents. So, and parents are like, well, I thought I did everything, and you know, and you think that you know your child, and on some level you probably you do, you most likely do, but teens are very good at hiding things from their parents. And I know people are like, oh, well, we keep a good open relationship and da da da. However, there's just some things that your child is not going to tell you whether or not you have a good relationship or not. Like that's always a factor, and that a lot of people deal with. So I'm not going to say everybody will, because every teen is different. Not all, you know, not all teenagers are the same, but a lot of families do. And then like, it's something that you really do have to, like, once you see things change, like I'm pretty sure at some point you'll pick up on something, whether or not you know how serious or not it is. But some people, like for example, I had a friend who had attempted suicide I think it was about 10 years ago. And me being all the way over here, because you know, this person was out of town, like she lived far away. And so she made a post on Facebook, and my heart sank, and I'm like, okay, so I'm like trying to go through all her friends that she know, like who can get to her like right now because something isn't right. And I reached out to two of her friends. One person didn't contact me back, but another was like, "Oh, she wouldn't do that." I'm like, somebody needs to go check on her and check on her now, because this is not like her. And to be honest, I really can't say that I remember her doing a downward spiral. But again, we're miles away from each other, so I'm not around her every day to notice those things. But when she posted that status, I was like, oh no, this ain't right. So, and eventually somebody did go check on her and realize that she actually did have an attempt. So, it just depends on the person, honestly, because every case is different and every person is different.
What's your thoughts on it, Tamara?
I think it is very difficult to know when a person is like really suicidal, or if they're just going through changes because an event occurred that made them sad or made them angry or whatever. That's a very defining line. Like now speaking of, what Levi has said before, you understand people's patterns. So if you know a person, you know them very well, y'all are close, and they start exhibiting different behavior, yes, that could be a sign. But then again, you don't know if that's just because they went through a life-changing event, or if they're suicidal. Like, you don't know, you know what I mean? Right. So I think that's when the open line of communication needs to come in. And if you have that rapport or that relationship with that person, like, honestly confront them. Hey, listen, what you said or what you did, yada yada, I feel like it was something serious. Tell me what's going on. Let's go sit down and eat. Let's go sit down and take a walk, but let's talk. Like, let's really talk. But yeah, I feel like it's very difficult because, I mean, life is life, right? And you're going to go through a lot of things in life, that you have a lot of lows and then you have a lot of highs. But those lows, they get you, and they will change your character. They will.
Yeah.
So, that's why the outside people who know you, who love you, they have to have that open communication with you, so that if something is changing and they notice it, they can like openly come to you and say, hey, what's going on? Like, let's talk about this. But it's very difficult to tell.
And that's the tricky part, because you're relying on that person to be open with you.
Yeah.
That's really the most tricky part of it all.
Yep.
That's true. I wonder too, like you were saying about someone saying all of a sudden, no, everything is fine. So that being a telltale factor, I think too, you being able to see that low to that all of a sudden euphoric high that they have, is like, okay, is he really okay, or she really okay? What's really happening? So you really try to, like, I don't think you have to like pry to that extent, but you have to be like, just eyes open, I guess.
No, you got to pry.
You got to pry. I would say, even for myself, like, just knowing myself, I am one of those people that you're going to have to pry.
Yeah, you got to pry. Yeah.
Just because, like, I'm the type of person, when I'm going through those situations, I don't want somebody to worry about me. So I'm going to make the situation seem okay. I'm going to make everything okay. And then later on, you'll find out that it wasn't okay. Or you may know, I'm just not going to say nothing. You know what I mean? There's just how it is.
Well, going back to Mayo Clinic, what it was saying here, causes for suicide include thoughts. Suicidal thoughts are the result of feeling like you can't cope when you're faced with what seems to be an overwhelming life situation. If you don't have hope for the future, you may mistakenly think suicide is a solution. You may experience a sort of tunnel vision where in the middle of a crisis, you believe suicide is the only way out. For me personally, with certain things that I've dealt with in my life, I actually have sat down and said, would this be an option for me? And no, for me, no, it's not an option. But I have thought about it. For some people, that could be an option. I wonder how you can, like, I guess what you were saying, Tamara, what you were saying about knowing that a person is going through something, and like you were saying, Levi, just going and sitting down with that person and prying. Like, okay, I know this person went through this. I know this person went through that. Just checking on them, to continually check on them and make sure that they're okay. But I wonder, can you do more than that? Or if you've done what you can, do you feel like you've done what you can? You know what I'm saying? See, like most of the closest friends, I have a lot of friends here where I'm at now in New York, but most of my closest friends are back in Virginia. Like, I don't feel like any of them are suicidal, but if something like that was to come up, I don't know if I would immediately drive down to Virginia if they're not showing signs or saying, I feel like I'm gonna kill myself. So I wonder, even in that situation, if driving down there would help stop them from doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's I don't want to feel hopeless about the situation, because if someone really wants to do it, I feel like
they would just go and do it.
they just go and do it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's what's a little scary about it. So really, all you can do is really hope and pray that someone finds the help that they need. But you can also be that help.
Right.
If someone,
And you can be the link. You can be the link to them getting help. Like, even with that scenario, like with my friend, we were states apart. I had to call or reach out, and this was just via Facebook. So I had to reach out to other people because I didn't have their numbers. You know what I'm saying? I know after that situation, I changed that because I know one of her closest friends, I have her number now. So like, being able to do alerting someone that can go and at least be there in a minute to check on that person in dire situation.
Okay, well, let me say this as a daughter who has went through one of their parents committing suicide. It's not that defining. It's not that white or black
and white,
right?
Yeah.
It's not, because like Rissa, like you said, your friend, she made a outpour of posts on Facebook. Like, that's how you determine something was wrong. Like, alerted you. This, let me say my little situation with my father. He's the one that committed suicide back in 2011. He had a whole secret life that we didn't know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you go off of the person's pattern, and we thought everything was normal. Like, we thought he was, the job situation, life situation, home situation, everything was, what it was, but in reality, it wasn't. But he hid that from us.
Right.
There was nothing that we could have done. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think prayer is very important. Now, my mother, who is also deceased, but at that time, she did pick up on some things because, of course, they were lovers. So she knew him inside and out. Not like I did, of course. She knew him on another level. And
Correct.
she would pick up on certain things. And, like Levi stated, men just don't talk about their issues. They just don't. And while she tried to do that, there was, like I said, he hid a whole part of his life from us. So that it didn't help. It didn't help. So what my point is that a lot of times the love that you have for that person, that will have to like overpower what you think or what you see that person is displaying in front of you. Because that person who is contemplating suicide, they will hide everything from you so that you won't pick up on any type of issues or problems that they're going through. Correct. They're good at that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That person is real serious about it.
Right. So I just wanted to bring out the fact that it's not that white and black. It's just not.
Right.
It's not that white and black. But of course, if a person is displaying those, issues to you, and you do see a decline in their characteristics, their personality, all of that, of course, confront it right then and there. But on on most occasions, when a person is really contemplating suicide, they will not let you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they're for real about it. You know what I'm saying? They're for real about it. But you know, it's just suicide is a very sticky situation.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Not to break you off, I was just saying, like, even for the teenager situation, but for men too. Like, a lot of the times, people don't see it coming. They truly don't see it coming.
No, they
So,
don't.
and a lot, and when you were saying about, you know, having open line of communication, it's really sticky because you have to trust that person, that, you know, trust that they'll come and talk to you. But a lot of times they don't do that.
They do not. They just don't. They don't do that.
People don't see it coming.
No, and so that's why, you know, like I said, that love thing, that has to, like I said, overpower what the person is trying to get you to see, because a lot of times they're living a lie. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And your love has to like see past that and be like, nah, something just don't feel right, because I know you. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, like, it's just like I said, it's hard. It's just very hard. It's hard.
Yeah, like you said, I really feel like, I mean, prayer will definitely help, but it is hard. I mean, what can you do when someone who is acting the part is really saying, okay, by this time, this day, I'm gonna do what I got to do?
Yeah, like,
And
what do you do? What do you do with that? What do you do with that?
Right.
I
What do you
There's
mean,
do with
nothing
that?
you can do. I mean, I think, and I think that for the people who are left with the grief and dealing with the grief, like, you have to really be okay, like, within yourself, to know that there was literally nothing that you could do. Because a lot of people, at least with the families that we have, like, you know, spoke with when I used to work on the behavioral health unit, and we would get updates about, you know, past people who've been there, you know, that would be their thing. And it's like, I just didn't see it coming. And that's the thing that they really deal with more so than anything, because they blame themselves. Like, what could I have done differently? You know, and it's just, it's hard. It's really hard.
what it's saying here is, although attempted suicide is more frequent for women, men are more likely than women to complete suicide because they typically use more lethal methods, such as a firearm. You may be at risk of suicide if you have, for one, attempted suicide; two, feel hopeless, worthless, agitated, socially isolated, or lonely; experience a stressful life event such as the loss of a loved one, military service, a breakup, or financial or legal problems; have a substance abuse problem; have suicidal thoughts and have access to firearms in your home; have an underlying psychiatric disorder; family history of mental disorders; so many different things. Are lesbian, gay, or bisexual, or transgender, with unsupportive family or hostile environments. There's so many different things that might lead you to want to do that. What I can feel, for me, like we said, when I'm feeling a certain way, I try to surround myself with people, because the thoughts are fleeting. If you have those thoughts, though, I mean, really, you have to be your own best advocate as well. But people, hopefully you're around people who can love on you and give you the support that you need. But if not, there are means and methods. We'll get into those later. But we want to continue to talk about some other issues that are concerning with suicide. Suicide in children and teenagers can follow stressful life events. What a young person sees as a serious and insurmountable what a young person sees as serious and insurmountable may seem minor to an adult, such as problems in school or the loss of a friendship. In some cases, a child or teen may feel suicidal due to certain life circumstances that he or she may not want to talk about, such as having a psychiatric disorder, loss or conflict with close friends or family, history of physical or sexual abuse, problems with drugs, physical or medical issues, being the victim of bullying, being uncertain of sexual
That's a
orientation,
big one.
or
Yeah.
reading or
Bullying is a big
hearing
one.
the what? Which one?
That bullying is a huge one.
Yeah, reading or hearing an account of suicide, or knowing a peer who died by suicide. Um, with these things, really, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. I can't say the best option for a parent to do with their kid if those issues are happening. I think what you can do really is just being really involved with your kid in their everyday happenings. You really have to be an involved parent, not being just one who's just letting them do and live their life, but also being involved and knowing what's going on in their lives, who they're connected with, and so forth and so on. I think, I don't know personally of any parents who have lost kids to suicide, so I can't speak on how those parents have dealt with it or those certain things. And there's not anything in here really that really talks about how you can help to stop it. For me, I feel that if people are loved on enough, or they feel like they have the worth that they need to live, then they will have that to keep themselves from wanting to commit suicide. So
Yeah.
are there anything you guys can help or feel like can help with kids when it comes to that situation? Kids feeling suicidal?
Levi.
You want to go?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think it's just more so a conversation, especially when you get into, like your teenager, high school type battles and things of that nature, where I guess like a social status is a little bit more important to the kid or to your teenager. Trying to be, have that open communication, or getting somebody in your child's life that they do feel comfortable speaking to, that can give them some good guidance. I know for me, worked, I might not have always wanted to talk to my parent about something that I went through or whatever, but I always had somebody who may be maybe a little closer to me in age, but they could still give me some good like adult wisdom itself. All you can really do is just try to be in tune with your child as best as you can, and be supportive for your child. Your child, just like a wife would know a husband, or a husband would know a wife. Just try to be there when you see some signs, maybe something is kind of going on. Just try to be there as best as you can. All you can do is just love them, really.
Yeah. And I'll even add, like, I am definitely going to be that parent that's going to be all up in my kids' business. Like, their privacy is not really something that I'm worried about, because I'll let them think they have it, but I want to be very, very, and I plan to be very involved. Like, and, even with the confidence thing, like me and my daughter, we do affirmations all the time. So, and it's to the point where she can say something back to me now. So, like, I tell her, repeat after me, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am wanted, I am loved. Like, we do this almost every night, because I want to instill confidence in her now, and want to help to build that sense of worth. And I want to do it now. So that way, we're going to plan on, especially having conversations before she enters middle school. Because I think, for me at least, middle school was the real turning point. So, because middle school is that's hard knocks. So, like, at least it was for me. But that's where I went, my boo. So, but, but like, having that sense of confidence and self-esteem, and having it early. So, because that's the thing, like, when kids, when you tell them, oh, you're pretty, oh, you're this, or you're like, oh, you my mama, you got to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want her to know it for herself. And the only way that I know how to do it is to instill it in her now. So those affirmations, and she loves saying them. Like, she'll be like, mommy, I am. And then, we'll go through them, and, we say her prayers and her affirmations, at night. And she is, like I said, it's to the point where she will come to me wanting to say them. So just really speaking positivity into her.
Yes.
That's one of the things, because a lot of the times when people, especially when it comes to bullying, because it messes with your mind. So, right. You want to build on that as soon as they're able to, as long as they can soak it up and learn it. That's what I plan to do.
That's right.
So this is from US News again, usnews.com. Dr. Emmy Betts, an associate professor of emergency medicine at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, thinks the reasons for the increase in young people's suicides are complicated and not clearly understood. She says the first thing is just to look out for each other, for our kids, for our communities, and ask if we're worried about someone and say something. It can feel awkward, but people are grateful usually. and also to use available resources to get the help that you need. What I will say, I feel that going back to being a parent and dealing with the kids, and like she's saying, there's no clear identifiable reason why people now are not people, but more so even kids now at an increase are committing suicide. I do feel like now with the onset of social media, this is just me. This is not no one else. This is just me thinking. With the onset of social media and people having access to phones, kids having access to phones in school, having laptops in school. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up where a bully can call me at home, or a bully can email me at home, or email all my friends pictures about me or funny things and send a picture about me and joke at me or make some kind of crazy face or anything like that. I didn't grow up like that. And it'd be instant and people can see that. So I wonder if that helps to exacerbate the problem for people feeling like they are isolated or bullied to an extent where they would just can't, not people, but kids, isolated or bullied to an extent where they feel like there's no way out.
I believe that 100%.
I feel like, again, that comes back to the parents, there's only so much. Well, I won't say that. I don't want to make it sound helpless. I feel like a parent who is vigilant, not so much just being smothering their kid, but just being vigilant to see what's going on in their lives, paying attention to their phone calls, listening to what is being said on the phone. All that stuff will make a difference. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was talking about how one of her kids was fighting to one of the school, was fighting with one of her best friends. They were calling each other out of their names and everything because she called her at home. And I wonder, dealing with kids, I didn't have to deal with that growing up. I for one, there was one phone in the house. It was my parents' phone on the wall in the house, and you could only call that number. You know what I'm saying? But now kids have the phones, their computers, all this stuff in their room, and people have access to, I mean, almost to an extent, if someone is really feeling a certain kind of way, it's almost torture a kid if they're not telling their parent what's going on. So how do you guys feel about that thought?
I agree with you 100% because, like, even to that, they had released an article a couple years ago about how with the millennials, like how with the use of social media has caused even increase in depression because people are seeing other people live their lives, or so to speak, through what other people choose to post. You know what I mean? So you think they're out here living their best life, and you ain't got no clue what's on the other side of that phone. Right. So, because I mean, I was bullied in school, so like I didn't deal with that either. So you deal with it during the day. After you had your evenings and the weekend, you were free. So you know what I'm saying. But now you're right, because kids are getting phones younger and younger, and they're getting access to social media younger and younger, and they're exposed all the time to whatever happens in school. And you take a picture, you can send it or whatever, and it's out there. Yes, it's still drama still die, like, there's a big story, it eventually will die a day in a couple of days, but that is not when you're young and you're dealing with that on a consistent basis, that causes something. So you don't have that breakaway like I did on the evenings and the weekend. And then you just deal with it, during the week, and then eventually people will stop messing with you. But now it is a constant thing. Now cyberbullying is actually a term. So
like young lives are being lost because of cyberbullying.
Yes.
You gotta be on top of it as much as you can. I know, like for my daughter, she has her phone or whatever. I actually found a good deal on a really good router that I can monitor like the videos that she's watching on the phone while she's, because her phone can only work on the Wi-Fi. So I can literally tap in exactly to what video she's watching, and I can watch along with her, even though she's in the other room right here on this computer.
I'm gonna need you to give me that, sir.
I will. But it's you have to be in tune, with what your kids are doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've seen some cases in suicide around me, and I think a big portion of it is when the parents really aren't involved a lot of the times. You know, the kid is kind of very willy-nilly, you know, being able to do whatever they want. You know, they may feel like they're popular, or they may be the kid who sits by themselves at the lunch table. You know, you have to know, like, these things are happening. I think it's important to talk maybe with your kid's guidance counselor, your kid's teacher. Maybe your kid might have a special teacher that they you know, connect with or speak to. You know, all these are different ways to kind of tap in without being too overbearing, you know, big brother-esque type of thing or whatever. But do the best as you can, man. You know, I have a small son here. I got a daughter. Marissa has the same. These two, you know, my other two best friends, they'll have some very shortly. But you know, all you can do, you know, you just try to do the best you can, you know, to create a safe environment for your kids, and you know that you can't protect them from everything. So
correct,
Right.
yeah.
I feel like what you're saying, Rissa, was big. The affirmations part. I really feel like parents should take the time to really affirm to their kids how important, not even just important they are, but how to value themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to impress on kids, especially nowadays. I mean, a big part of even with the social media thing is just there's no privacy. Like, nowadays kids they can't grow up to find out who they want to be or anything without it being forced upon them to be this way or forced upon them to be that way. Seeing kids go here, seeing all the stuff on social media, which makes them think that they should be this way or act this way or want this thing or want that thing. And
Right.
I feel that it influences people to, not even just kids, but even people, to a point where they feel like, oh God, I don't have that. I can't do this. I can't do that. I must not be this. I must not be that. But that's where someone else is in their life has nothing to do with you, or certain things that, even mistakes that you might have made, you can always come back from them. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Correct.
You know, you can
Don't
always come back
make
from them.
permanent decisions for temporary situations.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a way out.
Yes.
And not even anything illegal, but there's always a way out. I found that when you just sit down, sometimes you don't know what to do. You don't know how to get to the end. You just don't know. You just don't know. But when you just sit and wait, and again, you know, we try not to make this a churchy thing, but you know, our background, we're all Christians, and a lot of times when I just sit and wait, the Lord makes a way for me. So
that's right.
I mean, I feel like that's even can be done for anybody.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be just, you know, I do believe that Jesus Christ loves everyone and everything, but I do also say that you don't have to just end your life, even if you're not someone who professes Christ at this moment or ever. You don't just have to just give up and take your own life without finding help and the help that you need. And there's help out there, and there is always a way to get out of whatever situation you're in.
There is. You are not alone. You are not alone.
You are loved.
Yes. You are wanted. People will miss you.
You
People
are somebody.
love you. Yes.
Yes. I want you to we want you to really just, you know, take the time to, you know, find that place where you can get help or come to that comforting place. Like Tamara says, I do this too. When I start feeling a certain way, it's music that I can listen to on a regular basis that I just can't listen to when I'm feeling really down. I'm like, you know what, this is gonna make me feel even more depressed. I need to turn it on I need to turn this on, turn that on. I just can't listen to it. You know, I like gospel music, but I also like neo soul. And when I'm feeling like really depressed, I cannot listen to neo soul. I don't know about y'all, but like it'll start taking like, oh, I wish this was going on. I wish that was going on. So you just, you know, there's certain things that you just can't do. Like it's certain rap music, like you can't listen to. Is one song I heard, this one dude's like, I got enemies. I got a lot of enemies. I was like, why would you even listen to this song on a regular basis? I mean, if you like this song, you like this song. It's whatever. I'm not knocking the person, but for me, I'm like, that's a negative song. But anyway,
no, but you're right. Music is therapy. So there is some songs that I listen to on a regular basis, but when if I'm in a mood, I cannot. Like, y'all know I love Luda. So Ludacris has a song called "Slap." that song is hot, but it is a very depressing song. Like, you can't listen to that feeling and you feeling some type of way. So right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like music is therapy, but you gotta contour it when you're in that, when you're in that zone. Cause
you do.
Like, if you're going through a breakup, I can't listen to Adele, and Adele is my girl. You know what I'm saying? She gonna have me upset and like I can't. So you really have to, what the good stuff, whatever uplifts you, that's good. Because music is very very therapeutic.
Music is tied to your emotions. It's meant to put you in a certain emotional place that the songwriter or the rapper or the singer is trying to convey to you.
Very influential.
Yep.
What's some music that's very depressing for you? What type of music, Tamara?
That's depressing?
Like, if you're feeling depressed, what would you not listen to?
That's hard. I love music. I love all genres of music. I'm not just like on solely gospel, like, no.
Right.
But
I got a whole catalog.
I do.
Yeah, definitely.
I do. But I guess if I'm feeling a certain way, to me, what hits me hard with music is the medley and the beat. I honestly, a lot of times I don't even focus on the words unless I really, really love the song. But I don't know if she's considered like country, but Bonnie Raitt, you know that song? I can't make you love me.
Yeah, that Joe will have you in there.
When I really listen, like I like songs like that have that type of medley, like not melody to it. I like that type of like songs. But when I really listen to the words that she sung, I said, Jesus Christ, this woman, what in the world? You know what I'm saying?
You talk about putting your heart on the line?
Yes. Like, I'm like, Lord, I can't, like, so if I'm feeling emotional about, my relationship status, or if I just, whatever, I can't listen to stuff like that. But it's honestly though, it's like few and far between of songs that I like that I can say that, oh my God, I just can't listen to. Like, I haven't really dealt with that. But there are songs out there that are very depressing, like especially the words that people say in these songs. I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, country is definitely one of those sob story type of songs.
I would say even with some gospel, you got to be careful of it too. Like, some gospel, I don't think you should listen to either when you're down and out. You know what I mean? Especially for me, at least, like some slow gospel, contemporary Christian stuff, like I can't do it. I need something that's going to pick me up. Like, let's get the upbeat stuff like that. It's like sometimes in the church when it's raining outside and then you come into church and they singing worship songs. I'm like, I'm out of it. Let's speak up the beat in here. You know what I
mean? Yeah, sometimes what you need is just what you need. If you're feeling a certain kind of way, you have to learn what is best for you.
Right, 100%
to help get out of those mud spells. Also, guys, like we said before, we just I know a mud spell. I don't know. I don't know, but what you're saying here also, this is back on Mayo Clinic, to help prevent yourself from feeling suicidal, get the treatment you need. If you don't treat the underlying cause, your suicidal thoughts are likely to return. You may feel embarrassed to seek treatment for mental health problems, but getting the right treatment for depression, substance misuse, or another underlying problem will make you feel better about life and help keep you safe. Also, establish your support network. That's real good too. Like, I don't know, I hate to say it, but like, you know, I feel like we've been blessed. I mean, I have some really good friends. I have a really good family, and my support system is really sound. And I know everyone can't say that, you
Exactly.
know, and it's not to knock anybody. It's just the how, you know, the cards were dealt to you. Um,
Right.
Right.
really, we've said this before in other videos. Really pray or seek a facet or people who can help support you in a way that is conducive to your health. Um,
Yes.
you know, again, we've been blessed. We have really good friends, even outside of the four that you see in these squares. We
Yeah.
have really good friends, and we keep in touch. We keep each other uplifted. We try our best to stay in each other's lives, and even our families. So our support systems are pretty good, and that really does help. It really does help. I've been in situations where, you know, I really didn't know where my next meal was coming from. I was like, you know, even now, certain situations I felt where I don't think I can ever deal with this, or you know, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get over certain things. And the thought has come to my mind, but it's just like, there's another way. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's because I think about this person, I think about that person, and like, you know, I love this person. This person will be good for my life. You know, I love this person. They would miss me. I would miss them. You know, I wouldn't want to hurt them. All that stuff plays a part. You know, all that stuff helps, especially if you're feeling really suicidal. Um,
Yes.
what it's saying about establish your network is it may be hard to talk about suicidal feelings, and your friends and family may not fully understand why you feel the way you do. Reach out anyway, and make sure the
Yeah.
people who care about you know what's going on and are there when you need them. You may also want to get help from your place of worship, support groups, or other community resources. Feeling connected and supported can help reduce suicide risk.
Yes.
And remember, suicidal feelings are temporary. They are temporary.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
feel hopeless or that life's not worth living anymore, remember that treatment can help you regain your perspective, and
Yes.
life will
Mhm.
get better. Take one step at a time and don't act impulsively. With that last one, I can always say, what's the old saying? Trouble don't last always.
Yeah.
I'm
Joy
so
comes in
glad
the
trouble
morning.
don't last
That's right.
always.
Yes. And
Joy
it's
cometh in the
true.
morning. It is very
It
true.
is
It is very
cliche,
So
true.
but
true.
it is the absolute truth. Woo. It's the truth.
I mean, I have gone, like I said, we've all gone through things. I mean,
Yes.
we've all gone through things where we
Still
might
going
have
through.
thought, well, I can't believe this is happening.
Yep.
My life is over, you know, but at the end of the day, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean,
Yes.
do you guys have any specific instances where you want to talk about where you might have felt like you couldn't get over it, or like it wasn't nothing would change? No?
No, I'm just thinking to see if it like if I went through anything that dire to that point. I don't think so. Like I think the for me, like the one thing I felt like that was constant because, and you know this, like it took me forever, and this may not even be on a scale that serious, but like when I was on the cusp of getting my nursing license and the test kept holding me back and I kept seeing everyone, literally everyone around me going forward. It was the most frustrating time of my life. But well, at least one of them. And so like when you see all of these people getting ahead and doing these things and you feel like you're doing everything right and it's just not happening, you know. um I will say that I felt like down and depressed about it, absolutely, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like I was gonna end it all, no, but it was definitely a downward spiral that I had to really come out of. It was. I mean,
For
that's one of.
me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that
Oh,
wasn't.
for me, in 2010, I lost a very good job, and for I think almost 2 years, I was working so hard and I couldn't even pay. But I was working two jobs and I still couldn't pay my bills or my rent, and um, it was to the point where I felt like so less than a man, you know. And I was like, I was asking people for money, asking people for help. It was embarrassing. It was like, oh, and it was for the longest time. I never thought I would get over the situation, but it was a point in the time I was like, maybe I could just end it now, and I won't have to worry about it, and then it'd just be over. But then I came back to myself and was like, it's not that serious, and it's not that serious. It's really just not that serious. And the light at the end of the tunnel came where, I'm, I'm paying for things that I never even thought I could pay for before, or other situations. It's never as bad as it seems.
Yeah. But see, and that was the thing, like you saying, oh, okay, it's not that serious. Like you had to bring yourself out of that.
Right. It's not that serious, I mean, it's even too, like I had some unprotected sex one time, and I contracted a deadly disease. I'm HIV positive. I've never really said it on camera, but hey, we're here now. Anyway, when I found out about it, I was like, how? I was like, yo, that was a tough one. That was really tough for me. The thought of having to take medicine for the rest of my life, having to deal with possibly not being able to have kids, or dealing with, marriage issues, or all of that stuff. It just was like, man, I was like, you know what? Let me just, the thought again, it crossed my mind, maybe it'll just be easier. And I was like, no, I mean, honestly, I feel like I just, it's never been to the point where I was like serious about it. It just was like in the back of my mind was like, well, is that an option? It was like a door. It's like door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. And I saw the door there. You know what I'm saying? It was never something that I even grabbed the handle. It was just like, I could see the door. I was like, you know what? That's even it's not even an option. It was just something that I had to see it there. And I was like, okay, I had to deal with that and go forward. But of course I dealt with what was going on. And I'm still here today. I found this out some years ago, and it is what it is. Like I said, everyone has issues or something that they might go through, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always morning. What is it? What was it saying again, Rissa? Joy comes in the morning.
Joy comes in the morning.
So, but yeah, we just want to go back real quick. What's something that you had to go, or what was the thing you had to tell us, Samra?
Well, first of all, I want to, commend you, Terrence, for even displaying your personal, situation like that.
Yes,
I want to commend you. It takes a lot to go through that and to mentally overcome that. So I want to commend you, brother. That was, yes. We love you.
Yes, we love you so much, buddy.
But one thing I do want to bring out, we talked about a lot of stuff. One thing I do want to bring out is that I haven't heard this in the news, but this came from a family member of mine. My cousin, he's in the military, and he is in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And he has been telling us that there has been a lot of suicides in his camp. A lot of young men who have been taking their lives due to the pressure of the job, the boot camp, them not being with family member, on top of all of what COVID has brought to each and every one of our lives. And so I just wanted to point that out, that, this thing is real. And we don't want to be churchy, but it's praying time. It really is. There's a lot of young people who are losing their lives because the bout of being overwhelmed of a certain situation that they can't see the end of the light, with they just feel like they can't overcome it. Like, the people are really going through this stuff, what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I wanted to bring that out just to say, there is help out there. And like Terrence mentioned before, maybe your card was dealt where you don't have a good support system. You don't have family like that. You might not have friends like that, but that doesn't exempt you from not feeling suicidal, or, it puts you in a bubble, so you might have those type of feelings. And there are a lot of resources out here. If you don't have that close friend or that close family member, there are a lot of resources out here. And I think Terrence is going to put that in the end of the video.
Yeah.
Where there's hotline numbers that you can call, so that, you know, a counselor or a person who is, you know, taught in that area to help you to work through your situation.
Yes.
So I just like it. The thing is that it's real. Of course, we hear about it, but if it doesn't affect you directly, it's sort of like you hear about it and then you go about your business. You know what I'm saying? But it is definitely out here. And the thing is that it's the young people who are getting, who are being, you know, put in these type of situations. I have a niece who, you know, she talks about certain stuff like this, and she's at that age where, you know, she's at a tender age, and a lot of things are hitting her. So, you know, it's real. Just be loving, be there, listen, don't be judgmental.
Yes.
Yes.
Be judgmental.
Yes. A
Yes.
1,000 times. Yes.
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 Listen to the people who want to talk to you about certain things,
Yes.
and give them, above all, with your advice and suggestions and all that, make sure that they know that you love them.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
most important thing that's going to
Yes.
keep
Yeah.
with them. That's what's going to keep.
Even if you don't understand. Yes.
Right. You don't
Exactly.
have to
Because
understand.
you, a lot of times you
You
won't
won't.
understand
You're
what
not
that
going
person's
to.
going
Yeah.
Right. And a lot
Because
of times
it's
it's
their
not for you
situation.
to. Just help.
Right. It's their situation. You won't, it won't always be a connection. You know what I'm saying? So
Play your part.
play your
That's
part,
right.
love the hell out of them.
Yes.
Just love them. Love them till there's no end. Let them know that they're worth being here, and
Yes.
help them through the situation. There are a lot of people who have a lot of drama with them, and sometimes you can't differentiate whether it's the drama or is an actual suicidal, you know, type thing.
Very true.
A lot of people do it for attention.
Very true.
And that's why I say the love will, you know, more than likely will, you know, separate the two, and you can tell what the person is really going through, and all of that. Sometimes you can't, most of the time, hopefully you can distinguish it. But I just, you know, just love them.
Yes.
Love, man. Love,
Yes.
love.
It's so important.
That's the defining.
Yes.
It is.
And don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Terrence mentioned that earlier. It's not anything to be ashamed of. Life is hard.
Yeah, it is.
And you have every right to feel how you feel about it. Just make sure you get the help that you need.
Yeah. Life is definitely hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not easy. It's worth living, but it is not easy.
Yes.
And I
Definitely.
mean, especially when things are hitting you one at a time. Like, there is nothing wrong with going to therapy to get the help that you need.
Yeah.
There is no stigma. There is, and if there is, because we know that, but don't let that be the reason that prevents you from getting the help that you need. You
Exactly.
deserve to get the help that you need. That's what people are there for.
Right.
Don't feel embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Don't be any of that. You got to do what you got to do. And their help is for you. It is designed specifically for these situations.
That's right.
Don't care about what other people think. It doesn't make you crazy. Just get the help that you need.
Right.
You are your life is worth living.
It is. It is.
And coming from experience where I've done this, I've done this to other people where they've come to me and express. I mean, to you it might seem small as the hearer, but or as the listener, but if you're listening to someone express their problems to you, it might sound small, it might sound minute to you, but that could be something that they're potentially thinking about taking their life over.
Yeah.
So you have to
Correct.
be willing to come to the point and say, you know, give advice, give good help, whatever, and not be judgmental.
Exactly.
I'm
Yes.
guilty of that. I've done that where someone has called and said this, that, and the other, and I just was like, man, woman, you know, it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. To me, it didn't seem that way. But, you know, and that person, I don't know if that person was suicidal. I don't think they were, but I'm just saying you have to be able to know that that person is okay, and don't just dismiss their feelings. There's one thing
Yeah.
I'm very good at. I'm very good at being dismissive. I try not to be, but I can be dismissive to people's feelings, and it's not fair to them, because just because you've never felt that way or you've never experienced that doesn't invalidate the feelings that someone else is having. So you have to
Absolutely.
really take that into account when dealing with
Yeah.
people, because now, I mean, it's so easy for people to hit that breaking point with all that goes on in the world, especially now with COVID and people losing jobs and people losing homes, people losing a lot. It's a lot for people to feel like they have nothing left to live for. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
telling
let's
you.
take all that into account. We want to thank you guys for listening in to us today. Do you have anything, Levi, before I close it? Do you have anything else you want to say?
Hello, take it.
Oh my goodness! Hi.
Looks like he has something to say. No, I really don't have like. We just want to let you know that we love you. Also, you can hit us up on. I know he's going to post some phone numbers and things for you as well. If you don't feel comfortable calling those phone numbers, hit us up on our social links as well. You can message us, you can email us as well, and we'll get right back to you.
Also,
Yes,
you can call 911
or 911. Yep.
There will be to
Yeah.
you with it quickness.
That's
We
right.
love you.
Also,
We don't ever want you to go through anything alone. We love you guys.
That's
Exactly.
right. We love
also
you.
don't forget to comment down at the bottom if you want to say anything. Just put it down beneath on the comments. Also like, share, and we'll see you next time. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be healthy, be blessed, and enjoy yourselves. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on the roundup. Take care.
Catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye.